Okay, hi. This is a list of books that I have read in the last 15 months. That means starting from 2025 January and ending at April 2026. This video is going to be special because I'm going to pull out the names of the books of this list, what I have read, and what I have gained and learned from them. Along with that, I'm also going to give a small review regarding these books that I've read, and also through this video, you are going to get some of the best books in the list of all time. So stick till the end because this video is going to be for the book lovers. As myself being an author, I have read these books. So let's get in. So I'm not going to show my face to the whole video. Okay. So the first book that I have read is Learning to Silence the Mind. It's a mind book by Osho. Osho was very great philosopher of all time, right? He was one of the people who has revolutionized and one of the most influential people of the 20th century, right? He had a own city because the people, and that city was created by his followers. So this is one of his books which tells us how to actually control our mind, because our mind is like a child moving here and there, and we have to learn to silence it. So everything is inside, not in the outside. And through this book, which I have learned, is that the mind is uncontrollable if you let it to control you. But if you can control it and learn to silence it, then you can conquer the world. The second book in the list is The Power of Your Thoughts by Swami Mukundananda. Also another great person, intellectual person. Swami Mukundananda books are really an alumni of IIT. Also is a very great philosopher and spiritual person whom I follow myself. And The Power of Thoughts actually tells you how your thoughts can change your perception, your mind. And that perception mind, ultimately it leads to the changes in your life and around you. Because let's say I have a negative thinking that today I'm going to be a loser, I'm going to waste like the other days. But if I'm going to control my mind and change my thoughts to positive, that today I'm going to be the happiest person on earth, and I'm going to enjoy to the fullest, like going with my friends, hanging out with my friends, writing, doing what I like to do, all these things. Then that's the power of thoughts. So this changes the perspective, the whole life circumstances, right? The third book is The Book of a Man by Osho. Let me show you, like the book is here. This is the third book that I've read. And through this book, I have learned what are the roles of the man. Because when we talk about masculinity today, people often narrates that it's it's like the toxicity. But the masculinity means there are different kinds of roles that the man played. Without man, the society would not have been built up. So let's not get deeper into it, like somebody would say it's like a narcissist male, right? Anti-feminism. So I'm not like into that. But through this book, what I have learned is that this is another second book of Osho. First book, Learning to Silence the Mind, and this is the third book, The Book of a Man. So it tells what are the roles of a man in this society. Without this man, a particular man does a duty. If there is a laborer, he is doing his duty through which the work in the factories, in the industries are being done. The roads are constructed. The engineer is playing his role by guiding the laborers and innovating and creating and bringing solutions. And the doctors are playing the role. Even nowadays, the female doctors are also in highest numbers. So like that, different roles of a man, how a man was and what a man should be. So this is described in the book. And the fourth book is Energize Your Mind by Gaur Gopal Das. Gaur Gopal Das is also one of the spiritual person whom I follow, and he's also a very intellectual person. I have seen his videos. It is also available on YouTube. You can go and check Gaur Gopal Das videos. And the Energize Your Mind, you can energize your mind. It brings back to the story, like the author tells about his story, how the things and circumstances in his life has came, and it really affected his mind. But if he have learned to do the sadhana and meditation through this, and also this book actually tells how we can energize our mind. And the fifth book is The Science of Mind Management. So all these are mind books. So Science of Mind Management by Swami Mukundananda, the second book by Swami Mukundananda. Through all these 5 books, I have learned how to control my mind. You see, let me tell you that our mind is always busy. You have observed it. Just do one thing. You sit in a room silently and just do nothing. Close your eyes, turn the light off, Or even if you are scared of darkness, then you can just turn it on. But just remain silent and do nothing. Just forget about your job, just forget about your pending exam, just forget about your routine. Just do nothing for a while. Let's say 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Then you will realize that our mind is running continuously since we were born. So it goes on and on in a matrix system. But when you bring back to its original place, that is here. Are you understanding? I'm speaking in front of the camera. This is not me, but this is my mind. Right? My mind is programming the words to tell in front of the camera. My mind is speaking right now, not me. I'm not speaking around. So like that way, when you bring your mind to the center is here. I'm here. So this is actually how I've controlled and how I've realized I've got a consciousness about my mind, how we can control the mind. So these books were very great. And the next book, sixth book, is Ikigai. So this Ikigai book is by Hector Gracias. Let me show you the book actually. The sixth book that I was reading was Ikigai. So this is the book that I'm talking. This is the sixth book that I've read. This is by Hector Gracian, Francis Muriels. So this book is The Japanese Secret to Long and Happy Life. It takes back you to a story, to a village in Japan. So these two people are researchers. They go on a journey to research, to ask the people and to learn that why the Japanese people actually live, the secret behind the longevity and happy life. You must have known, if you are mostly aware of the facts and more into GK, then you must have known that Japanese people are the people who live for the longest, right? So what is the secret to their life? Like, what's the difference between the Indian lifestyle and the Japanese lifestyle? You are going to learn that there are certain techniques and certain things which they follow, which are totally different from the American style, from the Indian style. So all these things that they follow, like eating boiling food, not consuming extra diets, and they always keep on doing things, like they always are busy, they are not staying idle, which is the reason why they keep on doing things, and as a result they are not afraid of death. If the death comes tomorrow, then obviously they are living for today, not for tomorrow, so the thought is not going to come. On the other hand, right now today in India, we follow a lifestyle which actually tells us that there is a certainty of death tomorrow, because we are afraid of death, right? Because we are staying idle. And also the matrix, the system that we are following right now in India, it tells us to do something which we don't like. And as a result, our death is certain because we are waiting for our death. But this is not common in that village. The people in that village, they often had the lifestyle. They could have had the lifestyle we are living, but they are not. In the narration, the author tells that the people often term this thing called Ikigai, which means, as the book name is, doing something which you like. It can be, which actually gives you some energy to do more. And as a result, when you get this energy, you want to live more. So when I ask an alcoholic guy who abuses alcohol and tobacco, he wasted his life. He will, if I ask him what would be the one of the greatest gift if I can give you, because he's already suffering in pain, he would say, I want to die peacefully. If I can die today, that would be the blessing, right? Because he has wasted his life by consuming something which has slowly killed, and he did not want to die. But if I asked this thing to a guy of that village, he would say that he has many goals and ambitions which he has to achieve, and he is not yet ready to die. It's because he is doing something which he likes, and that is the concept of Ikigai, where the Ikigai comes. Like, if you want to influence the whole world with your ideas, with your philosophies, then you are not going to stop in India, but you are going to different continents, like sharing your ideas, like going to Africa, going to American continent, Australian, and so on. If you are going to be a cricketer, you are always going to think for the better play next time, like getting more sixes, more fours, and more number of runs scored. So if you are a politician, you would always think, when would I reach at a certain level that I would be declared the prime minister of this country? So this starts from the small thing, right? From university level, from then MLA, then MP, then state minister, then union cabinet minister, then the prime minister. So like this is a whole circle, because he likes to do what he wants to do. He is doing what he wants to do. But if I ask you that you are doing something which you don't like, then obviously you want to die as soon as possible, because you are stuck. You have no Ikigai in your life. which gives you more energy, more feeling of longevity. That means you want to live more. So this is the concept. This is a great thought-provoking concept that I've learned through this book. This is a tiny book, but through this book I've learned so much thought-provoking thing, which is called Ikigai. That means when there is something which you like to do, then you will notice that you do not want to die earlier, because you have a lot of things to do, and it changes your subconscious mind that you have to live more. But if you are not doing something which you like, then your mind is always already dead. You are already dead if you are not doing something which you like. Often people might say, this thing might not make you earn, or this thing might not let you run your family, but that is a different thing. But if you have no Ikigai in your life, then you are going to die. You are already dead. Our mind is already dead. So this is the thought-provoking thing that I've learned through this book, and I would say I would rate 5 out of 5 to this book, because this book has really changed me. So coming to the next book, that is The Psychology of Money. We are often bankrupts. The whole world is bankrupt because they have no financial thing. So this book is written by Morgan Housel. So this book takes back to all the stories of the greatest person who were billionaires, millionaires, the greatest corporates, the businessmen, and how the failure actually occurred because of the over greediness, because of lack of the psychology behind savings and thinking for the future. It tells a story which I still remember. I don't remember the whole particular stories that are mentioned here, because it throws random stories, but I like the book. And there's a story which tells that a very influential businessman who was leading the entire market, he was a billionaire, but because of his foolishness and greediness, and because his mind was not stable, he had not the psychology to save the money, he was bankrupt overnight. So these are the things not applied to the businessman or to the elites, but these are also applied to common man. When we are not financially educated, when we are not financially well knowledged, then we are going to be in the brink of bankruptcy. Often there are so many people who are taking credits from banks, and they are ending their lives in misery. So this book actually tells you how our mind can lead us to certain failure, even if we do a startup or become a multi-billionaire. Everything is inside this mind. And the next book was Grey Wolves and White Doves. This is a very thick book, right? So this is a story of three to five brothers, cousin brothers. They travel different countries. It dates back to the story of World War, actually. In the World War, when the countries were like the Jews were being traumatized by the Nazis. So like this way, there are certain stories which tells that how actually this world wars impacted to the people who actually had to live in different countries and had to change countries upon countries. It was a good story, actually. I liked it. The Grey Wolves and White Doves you can also read. It is by John D. Bellion. Next book was Too Good to Be True. Too Good to Be True. So this is just a romantic story between Avani and Aman. So Aman is a very great rich boy, and Avani is a girl who works at a bookstore as a part-time, being a student. So he meets this Aman called Hot Guy. So I'm not going to discuss more about this book, because this is written by Prajakta Kohli. As you know, she is one of the greatest influencer in the Instagram. So she wrote, this is her first book, I think. So this is just a romantic story, and I liked it, but I'm not going to go deeper into it. So you can also rate Too Good to Be True, Prajakta Kohli, and I would rate 4 out of 5. Then we have the next book that I have read is Can We Be Strangers Again? This is book written by Srijit Sandilya, and this book is a story about a boy called Dave who had a circle of love story between two girls. One was his close friend, and this dates back to the lockdown story when colleges were closed, but still we had the admission and the classes were going on in the online, and we had the online class groups. So through these class groups, there erupted a love story between a girl who actually was one of the most famous girl in the class group, and suddenly this friendship sharing notes became real. And when they met in real life, so the girl was really complex to be understood, and so the boy was really like stuck, in the story. And on the other hand, when he would go and share these stories to the best friend, another girl, she would give sympathy. And again, he would go to this girl, and he would find that that girl is not actually interested anymore, because she is trying something different, that is a different boy. But this boy actually goes on to this girl, the best friend, and the best friend again gives sympathy, and again he goes to the girl, and the girl still never changes. So like this way the boy gets admission to the father, that is from MBA, from the Chris University in Bangalore to the IIM. And the girl also grows up, and later they realized, once the boy realized, actually the best friend with the girl with whom he shared and the girl who liked another boy were actually partners. They had the plan. And then he realized how the sometimes the people could be only memories, and he dates back to the past, the present time, where he is with his mocktail and cigarettes in his hand, and sitting beside the Goa beach, and he's remembering how actually from a stranger to such a painful love story it had erupted. Like, so as the book says, can we be strangers again? He still wants to be that stranger, not the whole story where it has become a complicated love story. So it's a very interesting, beautiful story by Srijit Sandilia. I genuinely liked the scenario. It could become a film someday. So yeah, Srijit Sandilia, if you were seeing this video, then this book is really nice. I would give 5 out of 5. The next book is Rick Riordan, Demigods and Magicians. So this book is like a version of Percy Jackson, and I really like the characters. This is a very simple book. The languages are not complicated, so this book can be a very good for the teenagers, and I would recommend give 4 out of 5. Then we have Stumbled Upon Destiny. This is also another love story book. Not actually love story. This book actually starts of how Josna Rajan. Okay, this book is by Josna Rajan. Stumble Upon Destiny. This book is actually telling a story about how the modern day arranged marriage institution, how the modern arranged marriage can become so complex, can make life complex. So because of their parents, they choose someone, and as a result the girl character is not seen at the first, and the boy Vinit, and the girl is Mira. So they have different point of view, different perspective in their life. So the boy actually ends up to see his wife be getting divorced with him, because they have different point of view, different perspective. When you are in a love story, you either have to accept the flaws of the other person, or you have to be silent. But when you argue and when you do not want to accept the flaws of the other person, then unfortunately it erupts into a divorce. That is no agreement between two people, right? So this is that kind of a story which actually tells like the wife is more into like partying or going to the clubs or friends. She is actually kind of staying at her home, her maternal home, and she is kind of partying with the friends. And he was also like one of that who would like try to handle her, try to control her, but she was adamant she is not going to be his wife who is under him. So she keeps on doing that, and they live apart for a certain year. And the story actually tells how actually after the parting of these two people, he enjoys with his friends, going out partying and friends, and later he realizes that this is not going to work anymore. And when he finds out that the parents of the boys actually tells him that your life is fully wasted, because your life has become hell because you have broken such a tie between these two people, which was arranged marriage, which was done traditionally, right? So for how long you are going to stay like this? Like the family pressurizes him to bring her back, and she also doesn't accept that. He later goes to her, and he actually starts enjoying, but later he realizes that this is not going to work anymore. And at the end, when he finds out that she is still the same character, like the bitchy character, like she is not going to listen, she is going to fight with you. But later an incident takes place in her life. She gets really embarrassed in front of her maternal parents, and as a result, at that point of view, she cries a lot, and she realizes that she was somewhat different, she was becoming a different person. And then she realizes that this character was the same character which he portrayed to his husband, with whom she had divorced. So later she realizes her mistake, and when they both meets up at a cafe, and then she cries and apologize to him, and then he actually tells her that, so you have been too late now. But still the things goes on, and the author doesn't describes how the things are going to in the future. Like they are not still married again, but still it tells that at least they have come close together. Now they have realized their own mistakes, and from a critic point of view, at some point the boy was also wrong and the girl was also wrong, but the system is actually wrong. This is what is portrayed here. Like the arranged marriage, if you want someone to be your life partner, then the both perspective has to be respected. Your point of view and her point of view, both are different partners who are actually supporters. She could be your friend, she could be your best friend, she could be your wife, everything. So if that person point of view is not respected, then obviously things can end up so mess up. So I really like this book. And then we have The Richest Man in the Babylon. I don't have the book right now, but this book actually tells the story of once in the like 11th century, how the Babylon was the richest story. The richest businessman lived in this Babylon city, and in this city the people became richer. Around the world, the city was very famous. Like India was famous once as the golden bird, the richest country in the world. So like this way, this city was very famous. So the people actually, the author actually tells how actually at that time people used to invest, and how they used to understand the business, how to become rich. So this book is really nice, The Richest Man in the Babylon, which I have read. And then we have One Indian Girl by Chetan Bhagat. So this book is romantic love story between it's actually all the books by Chetan Bhagat. If you imagine it and visualize, then it can become a movie. So it's between Radhika, Mehta, and there's a boy. So this Radhika actually is a typical Indian girl who actually wants to work abroad. I think it was like segments or somewhere like a corporate sector. So she wanted to work there. Actually stockbroker she was. So she wanted to earn and live abroad. And this book is from the point of view of a girl who wants to work and live independently, she goes abroad and she meets Debu. Debu, who was a boy she met in New York when she was working as an intern. So during the intern, this boy, they both became friends. As a result, they became to like her first boyfriend was Debu. So this Debu was like a guy who was really like multi-talented. But later the story becomes messy when the boy actually realizes that she earns more. She is doing more than him. You know, there is a kind of a male ego. So this male ego hurts him. One day when he realizes that my future wife is going to earn more than me. My future wife is going to work somewhere else and earning in lakhs. And I'm just a small person. Like he's also earning, but less as compared to his fiancée. So as a result, when he realizes that, he tries to, it was a deep connection. It was a deep romantic story between them. But later when he realizes that, he confesses it to his girlfriend. And the girlfriend was not ready to accept it, because she was like, why are you becoming like a typical Indian parents who wants their wife to work at home, like being a housewife? She didn't like it because she was a topper in the school and she wanted to become big in life. So she wanted to work abroad in London at the stockbroker company, earning in crores. If we convert it to Indian, she was earning in crores. So she wanted that lifestyle because she wanted to support her family. Like she had a sister who was really not good at all in studies. She was like a very hot girl who in the class. So she only wanted to like marry sooner. But she was totally opposite. She was like the nerdy girl. So this Radhika was the nerdy girl who wanted to work, and then they had a breakup, and then she goes on. The story moves on. Now comes another character where she meets a manager level, like a colleague who is superior to her, and he is married. He had a wife and a children, right, daughter. Now she was like a junior to his boss. So these two starts working together, and later it erupts into an affair. So when this affair comes into place, she is really scared because she did not want to break the relationship between the boss and his wife and his children. But she wanted to ignore it, like come out of the story. But that boss was totally falling deeper in her love, into the love, like with Radhika. So Radhika wanted to be outside of this story. Later their story becomes more and more like connection become more deeper, and later she realizes that she's doing a mistake, and when she rejects him right away, so she meets another guy again. So she realizes that the problem lies within her. She actually don't know what she wants. So the debut and this boss and another guy with whom the engagement is now fixed. This is the third guy. So now these two guys come over there, like in the engagement. The wedding is soon going to happen, and this out of these three guys, she chooses none of them. Can you imagine? Like the marriage is over because she actually wants some more time to realize what she wants to do in life. So this is like a story of a girl, a million other girls who are like this. Like the character is portrayed by the author of those nerdy girls, those girls who actually wants to do something other than being a housewife. So this is the story of one Indian girl. Actually, there's a whole dramatic scene if you would read, and then you will realize. And all the books by Chetan Bhagat can become a movie, and even this story is also like a movie, like the Three Idiots or Half Girlfriend, which later became a movie. This is also going to be a movie someday. Anyways, these were the 15 books that I've read, started in January 2025 and ending in April 2026. Total 14-15 months. Within this 14 to 15 months, I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books I've read. So through these books, I've understood what I have understood. I have shared with you as a small review, and I've also you can say promoted the books. I've rated them, and through this book, I think you have got, through this video, you have got to understood something and little bit. And also all the books that I've read, the link to buy them would be given in the description. Anyways, this was all about the books that I've read, and I hope I would read more books, as I'm very fond of reading books. In the next time, I would come with another story. So till now, and till then, thank you so much for watching till the end, and I really apologize if anything wrong I have said during the video, as this was a raw from this first to first interaction, like no cutting, no filtering. So I hope this was really good review and a good sharing experience. Thank you so much for staying till the end.